This is the talk of Music City real estate.
Welcome back to another episode of the Talk of Music City Real Estate,
where we educate and motivate all things real estate.
My name is Monte Moore with Realty One Group Music City.
Hey, and I'm Carey Ann with CMG Financial and My Mortgage Team.
Every week we will be posting a new episode chock full of Nashville real estate value.
Yes, and you can follow along and subscribe at talkmusiccity.com.
Got a question for us? Ask away at questions@talkmusiccity.com.
Welcome back, Monty.
Welcome back, Carey Ann. I love that shirt. It says Talk of Music City.
That's what we're talking
real
today.
Estate. Amen. And we got Jason Hoover in the house.
Yes, and we have a special guest.
Special guest.
The one and only.
The one and only Andrea Moskal. Welcome here, Andrea. We're excited. We're excited that you joined us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
On the way here, Carey Ann, I was listening to this podcast, and I was mesmerized by. If I could have sat up in my car to the edge of my seat, I would have been sitting there, because there was this amazing mortgage professional that was talking about how to win a transaction in today's world. And then I realized, well, that's Carey Ann. I'm a little slow sometimes, Andrea. You'll find that out. But anyway, before we get into today's show, let's talk about our sponsor, shall we?
Yes, we have an amazing sponsor, Music City Removal. They're the #1 junk removal service in Nashville, from residential, commercial, and construction. They're experts in ridding you of junk. Their costs include labor and dumping fees without any hidden or added expenses. Whether you need a full clean out or just one item removed, they have you covered.
The Music City Removal team knows the importance of respect and trust while in someone else's home. They understand the inconvenience of junk left behind by previous homeowners and tenants, and are determined to provide an affordable and customer-focused junk removal service that puts you first. For a free online estimate, go to musiccityremoval.com. That's musiccityremoval.com.
Yes, Music City Removal, because clutter ain't cute.
Shazam!
Shazam! It's still not cute. After all these months, it's still not cute, Carey Ann, but you still are.
We cleaned out the attic the other day. Talk about clutter. You don't realize what you throw up there, do you? There's a lot of things you can stuff in those attics. Well, talk about attics. You've been having to clean out your attic, huh?
Well, we don't have anything in the attic because we have an unfinished basement that's over 2,000 square feet. And it's amazing how much stuff that can just attract to itself. Well, let's just put it in the basement. Well, just put it in the basement after 3 years. Just put it in the basement. It's like, okay, we're paying for that now. Jason Hoover, what's going on in the marketplace, man? I just got off the phone from Jim Payne and our team, and he had he has a little listing in Murfreesboro that had 50 offers on it.
50 offers.
That's
50 offers. Yeah, that's it.
That's what do you do?
He needs to pick it up.
I know. What do you do in this situation, man? I know we talked about this a little bit last time, but it hasn't slacked down yet, has it?
No, not at all. It's the one thing that you want to do is you first want to just crawl under the desk, get into a fetal position, and just cry. I mean that's it's very challenging right now. It's interesting because this is different.
It's very emotional, huh?
It's emotional, and it's not just here. It's the country. And I don't know if you saw the new census, everything coming out of all the people that have left, people losing delegates and things like that, and the ones that are gaining it. It's showing this whole different shift. So
everybody to Nashville or what?
Right, you would think so.
Texas and Nashville, I think.
As crazy it is here in Nashville, we're not even touching some of the other states.
Right,
which is
hard to imagine.
Yeah, mind-boggling. So if you can imagine, I mean, we're hitting such an inventory shortage. All these other places that are having to deal with this, even on a much higher level, it's insane out there.
It really is.
Before this whole situation happened, this current cycle, the most that we had ever seen on one property was, I think, at 18 transactions. That caused us to create a spreadsheet, so every time we have multiple offers, we're not sitting there thumbing through every offer and having to wrestle with all that. 18, and then that was like, the moon or something. It was so unbelievably off the charts, 18. And now, you only got 87 offers. I mean, like you said, only 50 offers. But I mean, what people don't realize is that really makes it even more challenging for the listing agent to deal with, I mean, you get 2 or 3, that's okay. You can compare them. After 10 or 12 or 20, certainly it just becomes a blur, and you forget about responding, and the agent's mad at you, and it's like you didn't mean to forget about theirs. It's just like, and then one of the reasons why Jim reached out to me is one of the agents was insisting that they had a signed rejection from the seller, And he goes, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that, to come up with a signature for every offer of taking it or not taking it. I mean, it's just hard on everybody right now.
Yeah.
And I don't think it matters what price point either. I'm
doesn't.
seeing all price points, even up, over $1 million with multiple offers. So, I mean, it is crazy right now for sure. How do you, Andrea, being in real estate now for
a whopping
since 2019.
That's right.
Go back there. Yeah, I mean, goodness, and a lot just last year.
So let's just say pre-COVID, okay?
Yeah, there you go. Right, but then thrown into COVID, right? Yep. I mean, so that was overwhelming in itself, and now I feel like we're in a different chapter, right? I mean, that was craziness that I've never experienced last year. And then this year, it's a different crazy. It's just a different emotional piece. So, how have you been, handling getting into real estate, going through, the COVID-ness of it all, and now 2021?
You just have to be open to change. I guess it's good that I didn't experience anything before COVID, because I don't know any different.
Oh,
so
that's good.
I felt, okay, it's challenging, but you're starting out. It's always challenging.
Right.
So just go out there and try to help people, because that's really all they want. If it's just rentals, if it's homes, or if it's where to go, new restaurants, anything, just help them. And so that's what I just kind of threw myself out there, and I'm doing well with that.
Andrea, when we met, when you interviewed for an opportunity to work with Realty One Group, but I think what caught Connie and I is that, and we especially identified with, because we had some elderly folks at that time living with us. Connie's folks were living with us for 2 years, and so we were especially empathetic with anybody who cares and has that caring level of caring heart to be able to deal with that scenario. Mm-hmm. And you took care of your mom. Right?
I did.
All right. Well, that is such, and I'm sorry for that emotional part of that, but we have to be great in our business. I feel like sometimes we have to have that caring heart. And when I found out about you, I said, okay, here's a lady that can be great at real estate, because this is all about serving others.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm learning that the hard. I mean, not the hard way, but. Yeah, moved here, and I am sorry. it still hurts.
Yeah.
It was definitely a big part of my life. Moved here about 10 years ago, and I'm an only child, and got that dreaded phone call that my mom was in the hospital from a nurse, and immediately went there the next day, and thankfully it wasn't anything major, just gallbladder and stuff, but she was 85, and the day before she was dancing, literally, not being, exaggerating. She was out dancing, and her gallbladder just decided to, have problems. So she needed to get that removed, and then come to find out, when you call your parents and you see, they sound so normal on the phone, and you think everything's good, and then you go there and you see what used to be just this beautiful, clean, perfect house now has moldy food in the refrigerator, and house is disoriented, and you can see bills everywhere, and you're like, what just happened? And she's in the hospital, so I'm just like trying to put pieces together of a puzzle, and decided to do her 6-week recovery. I brought her back here to Tennessee, and 6 weeks ended up being 6 years.
Wow.
Holy cow.
So, after it took me about a year to talk her into selling her house, because she was like, I'm going to go back to Florida. And I'm like, I don't know if you can do that. And finally she agreed, and we built a house and made it more handicap accessible. And my husband was amazing to let us, I quit my job, became her full-time caregiver, and that was it. So we just kind of ran its course for 6 years, and the last year was probably the hardest, because she had started having trouble walking, and it just wasn't getting better. And then I was introduced to hospice, which was incredible. And I always tell everybody that it's not just a end of life, sad couple weeks left. It's, however long we had hospice for a year.
Wow.
And they had everything, free equipment, free prescriptions, free anything you needed. I mean, just nurses coming. And so, yeah, that was so grateful for them. And then, I just became her hospice nurse. And all she wanted, her one wish was, don't put me in a home. Mm-hmm. And
wow, that doesn't put any pressure on you, does it?
No pressure, no, none.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
I was able to do that, although it got really hard at the end. But I was able to do that, and so really proud of myself. So I went into real estate thinking I was going to help families, because I know when I was trying to find a home to make it more handicap accessible, it was really hard to find something that would work with, 2 masters on the main floor, no stairs, bigger hallways. I mean, all these things you don't think about. And I'm like, well, I think, when she passed away, I'm like, I think, I want to try to help other families, because I feel like it's getting pretty popular that people are bringing their parents in, or some grandparents or whatnot, and I'm like, I want to help them know what to look for and resources to go to, and stuff like that if they wanted to go that route.
That is awesome, and that's one of the attractive factors that I felt about you, that you're going to be great at this for that reason. Jason Hoover, let's give her a breather for a second here. It's a great job sharing that. Thank you so much. It's all about from the heart. When we met, your folks were trying to find a place for your grandmother to live with them, right?
Right. Yeah.
I remember that. And again, I'm sure a lot of our listeners have, walked through that process of trying to find, a multi-family environment. It's not easy, is it?
No, it's not easy. And at the time, we were looking for a, master on the main, which was not, something that was
It wasn't built. Common back then.
Yeah,
no.
Common, yeah. It's more common now in new builds, but back then it wasn't. And so we had, my grandmother was, in her 90s, so they were needing a master on the main, and they were just going to go upstairs. But even before that, they were fortunate to be able to buy 2 houses beside each other back in Arkansas, and just took down part of the fence. Wow. And they, walk back and forth between the houses. Like you said, there are more people doing this, multi-generational families.
Especially, I would think, from last year with COVID, a lot of people didn't want their families by themselves, you know, and bringing them in. We were seeing
until you look at a home through those lenses. You don't realize how hard it is. Yeah. You don't realize how narrow hallways are, or you don't realize the bumps. You know, I remember showing property to a gentleman that was confined to a wheelchair, and it was incredible just how many obstacles there were. It really helped my empathy gland on that topic. So anyhow, thank you for becoming who you are today to realize your successes in real estate. I know that had something to do with it. Jason, you were about to share.
Yeah. So you have a motto, and that you put on everything. I love it. I love it. So would you mind sharing with them what that motto is and how you came up with that and what it means to you?
Let's see here. So I had a listing, and it was going to be my first open house. And of course, it was going to be this torrential downpour. And I'm like, well, we're going to have it either way. So I just need to stand out. And I had been looking for signs that would stand out and balloons, and I didn't want to do the orange and the green and stuff. So I found this neon pink. And so I started doing some investigating and saw that there was, you can do like a scavenger hunt during open house. I don't know. I come up with crazy things. Wow. I know. Wow. I like being different. I just love just the creative side of being completely different and standing out. So
that's not easy in today's world.
I just think it's fun. I don't like being like everybody else. Yeah, cool. And so I came up with a flamingo because you don't see a lot of flamingos here in Tennessee.
Not in the wild anyhow.
And so lo and behold, I got these 3 flamingos, and at the open house, I had them in each like certain areas, nothing like in drawers or anything that would be invasive. And I had my hashtag Andrea Moskal 615 on it, and I had, well, if you took a picture of the 3 flamingos, and it was I'm drawing a blank on the names. I named the flamingos. Yes, I did. Wow. There were 3 of them.
I love it.
Freddie, Frankie, and Flo. I think yes. And you had to take pictures of them and put my hashtag on there, and then I would draw a drawing. And so another thing that I started last year was a Where to Go Wednesday video, and I made a Where to Go Middle Tennessee Facebook page, which has about almost 1,600 people right now on it.
Wow.
And I like supporting local restaurants and boutiques and just the small mom and pop shops, because everybody's starting out, and I was starting out at the time, and I'm like, we all just need to get our name out there and help each other out. No. And so I had a drawing for, everybody who submitted Frankie and Flo or whatever, and you could have a drawing to one of these little boutiques and stuff, a gift card or something. So it was a way to get my name out. But I started looking up the meaning of a flamingo, and that's what I loved. I didn't even know there was, you know how like every spirit animal has like a meaning. Yeah. Well, flamingos, they stand out. They stand tall because they're on one leg. Be unique and just be different. Just stand out, stand tall, be unique. I'm trying to think of the other one that's on there. And I'm like, you know what? That's me. That is all me. I just love being different. So now when I have open houses, it's a huge event. And, and I've gotten listings from it because and of course, every time I have an open house, it's pouring down rain. I know what it is. So I'm like, well, if you're going to do this, if you're going to do this, you might as well have fun. And so we have Caribbean music, and people come in and I'm like, oh, you just missed the conga line. We just did it. Everybody's just laughing, having a good time because outside it's pouring down rain and it's miserable. And I'm like, look how sunny and beautiful it is. And it's just something, to get your mind off how horrible it is outside. Just come inside, let's have fun. And then the scavenger hunt just made people stay longer. I mean, even people that were with agents, like they're like, no, I gotta go find the other one, and the agents are like standing there like, we need to go, and they're like, no, I gotta find the other. So
awesome.
What a creative idea! That is awesome.
That's amazing, isn't it?
That's really good. And so you do that every open house?
Yes.
Oh yes.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot.
I'll never forget a while back. It was a few months ago.
That's that one I know what you're going to talk about.
You had promoted this open house, and I'm thinking this is going to be a heck of a place, because it sounded. I mean, your marketing is incredible. And then I saw the pictures of this poor little house with no front grass. And it was
awesome.
It was pitiful.
No, I don't care if it's a tree house or a trailer or $1 million house. It's going to be.
See, that's the sign of a true professional real estate.
Yeah, you're going to give your all no matter what.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody's going to be treated the same.
Yes.
Treat me with respect. I'm going to treat you with respect. I don't care if you're looking for 50,000 or 2 million. It doesn't matter.
And I agree 1,000%, but this one was rough. Okay.
But it had 3 flamingos in it where we were going to find.
Well, it had instead of grass in the front yard, there was 3. I'm just kidding. It was rough though. But your marketing skills. Your marketing skills were.
And that's what it is, because you're right. You never know. From like even selling to an underwriter, not everybody's credit is beautiful, but after it's done with me, everybody's credit looks like gold. Like I'm going to sell it like it's amazing.
Yeah,
you're gonna do what you do best, because that was what we were hired to do, is to make that look and feel like it would be somebody else's. So amazing job there.
So I know when you started, you were really you took right off the bat on social media as far as getting out there, and that you were getting things going already with that. So we know that's really important.
Something free.
Yeah. So tell us more about, here you are, you've been in the business for less than 2 years, okay? Since 2019, I'm sorry, let me correct that. Since 2019, 2 years ago. and a lot of folks, this is their deciding time period, because a lot of people got in 2019. They're deciding, should I stay in this business or not? You're flourishing in the business. What else are you doing other than making yourself different than every other real estate professional out there?
I don't feel like I'm doing anything different. I just constantly am trying to work, get my name out there, get people to know me, and just help people.
But that might be the different factor, actually, because you're executing, you're doing, you're being you, but you're waking up and implementing you daily. Like I don't think some people actually, I don't even think they're doing that sometimes. So I think that's a huge win. just by putting one foot in front of the other, for the day.
Being intentional, I think is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Being intentional about your business. This is your business. You're owning that business.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. Failure's not an option. I'm here to have fun and help people and, just take it one day at a time. But I'm definitely working every day, all day.
And I think,
and that's going to be the difference maker is that, we've talked about committed or interested.
Right.
And, when you're committed to something, you can't not work on it constantly. And so I think that's definitely what separates everybody is that Andrea is committed to it. She's been committed to it since day one. And she is proving our very point that because she's flourishing in this very market that we're in. If she's just interested, she wouldn't be where she is today.
Well, I think that's what I love and I discovered last year and now. I don't feel like I'm working, even though I'm on my phone all day, even like 11 o'clock at night, I'm sitting there texting and messaging California people because their time zone's different. Right. But, yes, it's 11 o'clock at night, but you have to do what you have to do. It doesn't feel like work. I'm always looking at homes, looking for people, looking for information for people, but it still doesn't feel like work. So I guess that's a good thing.
I think a really good thing. Yeah.
I think you develop some real serious muscles while taking care of mama,
I was thinking that because I was like, well, I wish I would have started this earlier in my life because I'm not, in my 20s anymore. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I would have had the right mindset to do what I do. And even last year, I grew so much. I remember Connie, telling me, like, this is real estate, get over it, move on, everything will be fine. And that was a tough one because there was one transaction where I was just like, I was about to put my hands up and I'm like, I can't do this. And Connie is the one that was just like, just get over it. It's fine. And I'm like, okay.
I think that we had a lady here, I'm not sure how many episodes, all about mindset. Yeah. And I think that's the hardest thing because until you have had situations happen to you a few times, last week for me was the hardest week of my entire life, I think. But if I wasn't mentally prepared and I didn't have other things happen in the past, I probably would have crumbled more than anything else. So I think what you're saying is, maybe working with your mom or caring for your mom, you've seen the ups and the downs and how all of those work. So your mindset is in it, but you keep going.
You have to stay positive.
Keep going.
Either if it's COVID or if it's crazy market right now with 5 million offers coming at you, you can't give up. Stay positive and just keep going because, and if you can't do one day at a time, I remember with my mom literally doing 1 hour at a time and writing down every single thing that I had to do because I was just so overwhelmed and I'm like, I can't do this. And just crying wasn't helping. So I would just sit there and look at my book and instead of, looking at the whole list, I would just kind of break it up and be like, okay, this hour, I'm just going to do this and this hour. And I did it. I don't know how I did it, but
yeah. What did it say? One stair versus the staircase, right? Just conquer one stair at a time. Yeah. So amazing. I think you're onto something, with folks that are newer in the industry, time blocking. Well, however you want to look at that, as in you want to do this by this time, or get that accomplished by that time. It is hard a little bit in our industry because we're kind of like firefighters. Sometimes we're putting out fires left and right, or
use that
the calls are coming in, and you want to jump on that call because that's a new opportunity, that you don't want to lose. So.
In baseball, we
back to baseball.
Yeah, I gotta throw baseball in every once in a while.
Did you hear that his team's still number one?
I know they are.
Absolutely.
Keep track of that one.
Yeah, number one.
Go Hogs.
Come on.
Go Hogs.
Undisputed number one. There you go.
That's what really matters.
Yeah. But in baseball, I had a coach one time. Whenever you get hurt, he'd just say, hey, just rub some dirt on it. And, that's pretty a known thing now. But it's like, even if you slide in, you're bleeding, just rub dirt on it, make it stop bleeding, and let's keep on playing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what we got to do. I mean, it still stinks, still hurts, but just rub dirt on it and get going.
A coach told me once you try to find that thing that gets you back into the game, right? So that could be, slapping your arm or doing something. And so I got that easy button. where you can buy your own easy button, and you can put whatever thing on it, so you can have somebody telling you something. And so I put that part of the song of Frozen where it says "Let it go."
Oh yeah.
And then I remind myself of my daughter too, but it's it goes into the whole choir part of it all, and it really gets you. Like, we have no time to let it bother us. We do have to let those things go, but sometimes it's a little easier said than done.
It's funny you mentioned about slapping. Just real quick, last year, last couple of years, but he's gone now. We had on our Arkansas team a relief pitcher, or a closer, not the relief, a closer, and every time he would come out of the bullpen, he had the coach out there just slap him. I mean, it was a hard slap
on the rear or the cheek.
On the face.
Oh, I don't like.
He would come out
baseball. They can get away with it on their.
But he would do that because that got him kickstarted. He came out there
ready to go,
and so every time, because some people that didn't know that will watch him. What did he? Right. Slap the pitcher before he came out.
What is going on? Yeah.
Now we know what Carey Ann's going to be doing to some of her folks.
Well, and then Hal Elrod, remember him?
Well, I was going to bring that up.
Yeah. He talks about 5 minutes. You get 5 minutes to complain about it, and I think that's a good. At least you have the ability to.
Well, I think anybody who's been in this industry very long has had to have quit multiple times. I know I have. I have quit. I can't tell you how many times I've quit this business, at least for that 5 minute period, But that's one of the things I love about Hal Elrod. Feel the pain and then get over it.
Right.
Then get on down the road.
That's what Connie said to me. That was it.
Right.
But I think it makes us stronger. I mean, the whole thing last week, I mean, what did they say? I don't even know the sayings anymore, but you got to keep continuing to have things happen to you because you're stronger for the next situation that ever comes, comes your way or whatever. So, but what would you share to other agents that are, 3 years or less in the business that possibly came in at the same time?
Which is a bunch of them.
Yeah, a bunch, and that's something kind of cool to see, with the crazy, maybe because last year real estate, spiked so much, possibly that's an interest for people to get in.
17,000.
That's what he was saying.
You're kidding. 17,000?
Over 17,000. Mm-hmm.
See, that's why you have to be different.
You got to be a flamingo.
You have to be a flamingo.
Yes.
Flamingo or flamingo?
Thinking about flamingos, memory just popped up this morning, and it must have been the first time I took Aubrey to the zoo, 7 years ago or something, and she's doing the flamingo with the leg up, right around the flamingos. We love flamingos in our house too, so that is a good thing. Stand tall, be different, stand out. I love that for sure. But what would you share, for those folks that maybe aren't as confident as you to feel comfortable, standing out and totally being different? What would you say to somebody? What would be some good advice?
Well, don't compare yourself.
Ooh,
that's a tough one because you see all these other agents and they're just doing so well and it's amazing. But there's that jealousy and I'm like, I can't do it. And it's like, you know what? You do
Love
you.
that, yeah.
And just, where I was this time last year is huge. But last year I didn't think I was doing well at all, and now I look back and I'm like, man, this is, I'm loving this. This is, so do not compare yourself. And that's even with life. Like, don't compare yourself to other mothers, don't compare yourself to spouses, because you never know what's going on behind the scenes too. But
that's a great one, Carey.
That is really good.
Because in our industry, it tends, you want to celebrate other successes, but the temptation is, well, how come that's not working for me at that level or whatever? I get that. I mean, I still get challenged by that sometimes.
And
I'm real competitive.
There was a book, or I read it in a book, and I don't remember which one, but it said, don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Shazam!
That was a little intense.
Really?
But you're right. I mean, we never know. And we also don't know what's behind closed doors. We don't know what's going on in other people's, lives. I mean, we see what we see on social media, which half the stuff is probably not even accurate, type of thing.
Right.
We go back to, there's a reason why they put, blinders on, horses when they're in the race, right? They don't want them to compare or see what's going on to the next. Like, you just stay in your lane and do you, right? And I love that. That's a great
so I
tip for sure.
Taking all the classes that Jason had and Monte had and absorbing everything they've taught us here. And then, if that's not how you want to do it, just take pieces of that and incorporate it in your style. And that's basically what I did.
You have had an amazing mentor as well, didn't you?
I did. I love
she's awesome.
Anita. Yeah,
Anita's
she's
incredible.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
amazing.
she's a sweetheart.
I started off with Jason though too. So
Yeah, she moved up.
Yeah.
She moved up. Yeah, I think having a foundation is critical, in today's world of having, we were very, very blessed when Jason joined us and started to develop that mentorship program. I've seen more success stories with the newer agents than we've ever had before. So proud of you.
Yeah, and I think the last thing too is sharing about you. Sounds like you took the time to study, you took the time to go to classes, you took the time to be educated, so you were coachable.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know. I was just a blank slate. I'm like, tell me what to do, and then figure out how to make it work.
And that created a lot more confidence today compared to even
And then you
last
also
year.
have to be not be afraid to do things like today.
She's stepping out of her comfort zone. I love that.
So out of my comfort zone.
But you said yes, and I think sometimes they say you have to jump in the deep end and then learn to swim, because it's going to take you somewhere. Those risks are going to open up more opportunities and doors for each one of us. So we're excited and we're so grateful to have you with us today. And
Thank you,
that
Andrea.
few tips that you gave us are going to help so many people out there. So
Andrea, thank you for paying the price to be you.
Thank you.
That came with a price, we know.
Yeah, everybody has to pay a price for something.
Well, everybody does.
And thank you for sharing
Thank
your
you.
heart today as
thank
well
you.
for
Yeah.
us. Thanks everybody for joining us. We can't wait to have you come back. You've been listening to The Talk of Music City Real Estate.